Alright. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today it's time for a new series that I've come up with, something a little bit different, and it's called, as I'm sure you've seen from the thumbnail, The Big News. Basically it's just me going over the biggest events of the week. I'm not going to be uploading this every week because I've decided to cut down my upload schedule just to Sundays. Wednesday and Sunday was a little bit too much for me, so I've decided just to cut it down to one day. Because then it gives me the whole week to actually edit the video up to the best quality that I can, which I think is better than just putting loads of videos out that aren't of a good quality. So we're going to jump straight into the news of the week. I've done a little bit of research, not shitloads, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been sat there for hours looking at different news articles and stuff, but these are the ones that I think are the biggest ones of this week. So this is just my opinion. These are my opinions on the different news stories. So obviously you're going to have your own opinion, but if you do want to write down your opinion, just drop it in the comments down below, and obviously I'll read it, and I'll read your comments as well. Let's jump straight into the first story, which isn't the biggest one. There is a massive one on here, which I'm sure everybody's going to know what it is because everybody has been talking about it this week and it's doing my head in. But the first thing I've come up with is the Game of Thrones episode, which was on a Monday. It was aired on Monday night in the UK. I'm sure everybody who's obsessed with Game of Thrones has watched it. I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones and it was absolutely incredible. Possibly the best one of all of the Game of Thrones episodes yet, in my opinion. And it was absolutely outrageous. If you haven't seen it yet, this is going to contain a few spoilers because it's been a week, man. What you been doing? Where you been hiding? Basically, Battle of the Bastards was the name of the episode, and it was the big showdown between obviously Jon Snow and Ramsay Bolton. Obviously Ramsay Bolton met his demise in the battle, Jon gathering up the wildlings and the people that were still faithful to the Stark house versus Ramsay and all of his little bitches. It was a massive battle, don't get me wrong, the battle was absolutely huge. Bodies were flying everywhere, also piling up everywhere. People battling on top of bodies, people with guts spewing out everywhere, necks sliced. It was absolute chaos, but I loved it. And as everything was kicking off, it looked like Jon was going to die again. He's getting trampled on. He's like, oh, I can't believe shit, I've been trampled on by all these people. And I don't know why he was Scottish at the beginning of that. Then, all of a sudden, the ginger one, I forgot his name. What's his name? I can't remember, the one with the big beard, the wildling man, he's getting nutted in the face and his face is all bloody and everyone's crying like, oh my god, he's gonna die. And then all of a sudden, you hear a horn and Ramsay's sat there like all smug like he is. And then over the hill and far away, the Teletubbies come out to play. No, they don't. Who is it? It's frickin' little Todge Finger and all his little people from the Vale with Sansa comes gallivanting over the bloody hill and they all come and kill everybody else. And there they go. They're the winners. Littlefinger has come to help, which I think isn't a good thing because I think he's going to want something from this, possibly Sansa as his wife, which is a little bit creepy, but that's Game of Thrones for you. Hey ho, he saved the day. Jon didn't die, the other person didn't die, and then Ramsay decides to flee the battlefield and go back to Winterfell where all his people are all stood. And big badass Wun, the big giant, and Jon Snow and the ginger dude that I've forgotten the name of, and it's really annoying me, I can't remember his name. So they go running after him, get to Winterfell, and Wun being the absolute tank that he is, smashes through the gates, barges in, he gets absolutely pummeled by arrows, and as he comes through he's just got arrows sticking out of him, he looks like a friggin' hedgehog, and then he just collapses to the floor, and that is the point where we see him die, which is very sad. Jon runs next to him and he looks at him and you're just expecting him to say something, and just as he's about to talk, he gets smashed in the eye by an arrow from who else but Ramsay Bolton. He is stood at the end looking all smug as he always does. And that's where Ramsay meets his end, really. I think that pissed Jon off a little bit more. And then he runs in and basically just Ramsay's asked for a one-on-one. Jon blocks a few of his crappy arrows with a shield because he's an absolute badass. And then just decides to beat the absolute crap out of the bloke. And that's where it ends, really. And then Sansa locks him in a dungeon and he gets devoured by dogs. Which leaves the question, is Sansa Stark pregnito? That is another question, because he's saying, I'm part of you now. Left a few people thinking up in the old noggin, is she preggy? I think yes, I think she has been for a while, because she was saying she wasn't hungry when she was at Castle Black. She said at Castle Black, I still feel what Ramsay did to me inside of me. Could be a little fetus in there, who knows. But we'll have to find out. That's Game of Thrones for you. Also, what I forgot, oh my god, freaking raccoon died. What the hell? Ramsey gives him opportunity to run to his brother before the battle even starts, and he says, there's your brother, run, and we're going to play a game. If you get to your brother, then he can keep you. He didn't say that I'm going to fire shitloads of arrows at you whilst you're running, but I don't suppose he was going to, was he? So Rickon, the poor little lad, starts running as fast as he possibly could. I'll say that, but he really didn't, did he? No, he wouldn't run a 100-metre sprint at sports day if that was him. And then he's running, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna get to you, John, save me. Oh, he's gonna get to him, and John's galloping on his horse, trying to get to him as fast as he possibly can, and Rickon's running in a straight line. I mean, if that was me, I'd be like, bitch, you ain't shooting arrows at me in the back, like zigzag patterns, Rickon. Come on, what are you thinking? Do you not think anything? Like when you're playing Bulldog at school, you don't run a straight line, you're running zigzags, dodging, duck and weave. Patches O'Houlihan in dodgeball would be very ashamed of you because you can't dodge no wrench. So, as he's running, it looks like he's going to get there. One of the arrows sticks in the floor as he's getting to John, and he's just reaching out his hand, please. Boom. Straight through the heart, obviously gonna die. I saw that coming from frickin' miles off. He's been in that way too long. Nothing happened because he escaped with that wildling woman. I can't remember her name either. And then that was it. So it was obviously he was gonna die, so that didn't really disappoint me. That was the Game of Thrones biggest episode ever. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I think that's like been topped as one of the biggest like episodes ever. I think that's been classed as. I'm not too sure. I didn't really read into it. I just watched it and I was just like, oh my goodness. Oh my damn. So, that's story number 1, done. Story number 2 is not really for everybody, but it's more tech whizzes and people like that. PlayStation are bringing out a new virtual reality kit. I think they told us about this ages ago. Basically with the goggles and all that. So it's virtual reality, it's amazing, I can't wait. A little bit more information on that. It's coming out on the 13th of October, I think they've given a release date of. And it's going to cost £400. I mean, damn, boy. What kid's got that sort of money nowadays? I mean, I can only afford it if I save up. I don't think I will get it though. And I think they're saying that they're going to release 50 game titles for it, which will be pretty insane, especially if there's some well-known ones like Call of Duty or something like Virtual Reality Call of Duty. Damn, son, that'd be absolutely sick. So yeah, that's basically on that one. Also, they're going to say that they're remastering Crash Bandicoot, which I think is absolutely amazing. That's huge news. I mean, Crash Bandicoot, that was one of the biggest games ever. If they remastered that and Spyro, I mean, I'll be set. I won't need any other games because they kept me entertained for hours. We're going to move on to sport now. Obviously, it is a Sunday today. Last night was a massive fight between Anthony Joshua and that other dude. What was his name? Dominic Breazeale, I think? Breazeale? I don't know his freaking name, I can't pronounce it. Well, I've probably just butchered that, but yeah, that was him. And Anthony Joshua, obviously being the absolute machine that he is, knocks him out in the 7th. Easy win, to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't, right, story. I was laying in bed last night, waiting for it. It got to Groves' fight and I fell asleep. So I actually missed the fight, but I watched the highlights this morning and he looked like he just absolutely pissed him. He got some big ass hits in. To be fair, the other dude got some big hits on Joshua, but it just looked like he took him like an absolute champ, chin of steel, and then just absolutely laid into him. So that is the 17th win for Anthony Joshua, and a 17th knockout, which, if you think about it, is absolutely ridiculous. I think Muhammad Ali had something like 60 fights and lost 3 or something like that, and the rest of them were knockouts, something ridiculous. But the way that Joshua is going, he's looking to be an absolute champ, the same as Ali. Fingers crossed he can get there, because I love the babe, he's an absolute beast. And looking at him, he just looks like an absolute gent as well. He just looks like an absolute sound bloke. So, well done Joshua, big ups from everybody in the UK and around the world. You're an absolute ledge. And probably one of the biggest stories of the week in sport this week was obviously England progressing through to the last 16 of the Euros. They're going to be facing Iceland tomorrow night. I think we're going to do it. Iceland are actually a really good team. They've got some very good players. Sigurdsson, obviously one of their big names, but as well as him, they're actually doing pretty well, I thought. They played quite well against Portugal, but England 0-0 draw against Slovakia to progress into the last 16. I think it was the right result, because if we would have come first in the division, I reckon we would have had a tougher game. But Iceland, tricky opponent, I think we can do it. Come on the Lions. England, we're all England. Yeah, I think we'll progress into the next round, which I think might be against France. France have got the Republic of Ireland. And if Ireland do them, that'll be absolutely amazing, but I can't see it happening. France are obviously the favourites, it's in France, but anything can happen. We've learnt this in football before, but all we care about is England. Come on the boys. Okay, on to the biggest story of the week. Obviously, everyone knows what I'm going to say. It was the EU referendum. If you don't know what that is in the UK, if you don't know what that is, where the hell have you been and what have you been doing? Basically, in the UK, we voted if we want to remain or leave the EU, and the result was leave, which made quite a lot of people very disappointed. Understandably, if you're a Remain voter and leave was the result, obviously you're going to be upset, but it'd be the same if it was the other way around. I voted leave. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I voted leave. Mainly because I think it'll be better for the country in the long run. I think obviously it's going to start very slowly. We're going to go through some very tough years, don't get me wrong, it's going to be absolute dog shit. But in the long run, I think we're going to pick up and make Britain great again as to what we used to be. A lot of people on Facebook that I've seen saying, oh yeah, the old people have voted, it's not their future, they don't really have the right, they shouldn't have voted. Well, you're up to your own opinion. I voted leave. I'm not a racist. I know that everybody always puts, that's the one thing that pisses me off the most. If you vote leave, you're a racist. It's the migrants that make you vote leave. Why? 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 No, it's not. I don't have a problem with migrants. What? If they're coming over here to make a better life for themselves, big ups to them. I'd do exactly the same. If they're coming over here to just slob about and be absolute bell sniffers, then yeah, obviously you're going to want to get rid. Surely you'd think the same even if you are a Remain voter. But I also voted leave, which I did do in my previous Q&A, which you can view on my channel. I also voted leave because of David Cameron. He's an absolute dick, and I'm so happy that he's resigned because he was, oh god, he was the most annoying bloke in the world. It was just all about him, and the tactics he used to make people vote Remain I think were wrong, scaring people into voting Remain, which it isn't right, you can see straight through it. But at the same time, I do agree with what the Remain people are saying about the NHS thing, him saying that he's going to give 350 million, which was given to Greece, to the NHS, but now he's tracking back and saying that might not happen. I don't know. But what's done is done. Nobody can change that now. Apparently there's millions of people signing a petition to get it done again. But at the end of the day, what is the point? We've took the risk. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't, then fuck knows what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not political. I have no idea what's going to happen. I really hate politics, if I'm perfectly honest. I know it's important, but I just don't care. Everybody who's involved in politics is a bit of a goon, if you ask me. So that is the big one. It's going to affect a lot of people. It's going to affect a lot of people. It's going to affect a lot of businesses. It's going to affect a lot of things in the country, basically sport, everything. It's massive. It's absolutely huge. That is the biggest story of this week. Everyone's been talking about it. Everyone's going to be talking about it for the past few months, probably. We've just got to get on with it. We've just got to get on with it, make it work, build up, and see what happens. You can't just sit around moaning about it. You've just got to get stuck in and get on with it at the end of the day. But now, we'll end on something a little bit lighter to cheer the mood up, make everybody happy again. I saw this, I don't think it was actually in the UK, I think it was in America, but a young 15-year-old girl, I think she was a girl or it might have been a boy, I don't know, managed to get her head, or his head, stuck in a Barney the Dinosaur outfit. Just the head. Like, got her head fully stuck. I don't think she could get it off her head. It was absolutely hilarious. I'm going to put a picture up now so you can all see it. Oh, he needs some milk! Like, the policemen were absolutely pissing themselves, and you can understand why. If somebody got their head stuck in that in the UK, like you were walking to work and you just saw somebody with their head in a Barney the Dinosaur outfit, I'd be crying as well because it just made me absolutely piss my pants. So there's a little thing to brighten the mood at the end of talking about the dull EU referendum. If you did enjoy this new series, please smash the like button. It will help me out a lot. Please comment down below with your opinions on what I've said or your opinions on the stories that I've mentioned. If you did enjoy the Game of Thrones episode and what was your favourite part, put that down below as well. Please hit subscribe on my channel, that is the main thing. It helps my channel grow loads, and I will look to do this, I will look to make more of these in the upcoming weeks. As I say, it's not going to be every week because I'm only uploading on a Sunday, trying to keep my Road to Glory series keep going. But that's been it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great Sunday. Bye!